First volunteer. Yes, sir.
My name's Alan. Please.
Hi, I'm Stan.
Hi, Stan. We hear a lot about the creative process that you went through with Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby in your offices. It's a lot of imagination where you're jumping around and acting out scenes. What was it really like?
Well, it was really like exactly what you said. I would come up with something like, we needed a villain. And I said, I like the name Dr. Doom. You know, you can't get much more villainous sounding than that. I said, I think it would be fun if he's the king of his own country. So when he comes to any other country, he can't get arrested because he has diplomatic immunity. And then I thought it would be a good idea if he wore an iron mask and a cloak, and he really looked. So Jack said, well, how come he wears a mask? So I said, well, how about when he was young, he was in an accident and his face was scarred, and that made him hate everybody and decide that he was going to get revenge. But the funny thing about it was, Jack had him sitting in a chair in one drawing, and he sat like this. And I said, Jack, he's Dr. Doom. He doesn't sit like this. He sits like this. Yeah. And Jack drew him that way. And that's what I used to do. I'm really a frustrated ham. I always wanted to be an actor. So I used to love to be with the artist and say, no, the character doesn't point like that. He points like that. You know, and I'd always act everything out, and sometimes I'd jump on the table and I'd say, this is the way you ought to fall off the table, and hurt myself all the time. But it was fun, and I think the artists enjoyed it too. We made a game out of it almost. We kept acting out all the roles for the characters. I almost felt guilty getting paid for what we did, because it was like we were playing all the time. And you see, you ask a question, you get an answer.
Wow.
That's the way I am, a great human being.
Got a question for the little boy, Stan? The little boy.
That pointed right? That's there you go. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I just want to say, of all the bad guys that you've ever made, how many of them can you relate to?
How many what can I relate to?
How many of the bad guys can you relate to?
Oh, I relate to all the bad guys. I tell you, I love the villains more than the heroes, because the hero is just a good guy. He says, oh, something bad is happening, I better take care of it. And that's about all you can do with the hero. But with the villain, you can have a lot of fun. I mean, the villains have so many motives for what they do, and they're always planning to destroy the human race and to kill the hero, and they're a lot of fun, as long as they're not real. I wouldn't want to meet one in real life, because I'm basically a coward. Yes, sir.
Hi. I was going to ask, do you ever feel under pressure by any rival companies, like DC? Did you ever have to do something amazing to get back on top?
Did I feel any pressure from other companies like DC? Did I have to do anything amazing to stay on top? Did you say something like that? No. No, I was very lucky. I think we had the best artists, we had the best writers, and poor DC. They did the best they could, but I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday at one of the panels. I don't know if you were there, but I think it's a funny story. After we were doing our strips, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and the Hulk and all of them, and they were selling very well. I decided to change the name of our company, which at that time was Atlas. And I said, we need a better name. Let's call it Marvel. Marvel is a great name, because besides being a ham actor, I love advertising. And I thought Marvel was a good name we could use to advertise, because we could come up with phrases like, make mine Marvel. Welcome to the Marvel age of comics. Marvel marches on. You know, all kind of corny things like that. When we changed our name, DC had been named National Comics. And they decided, well, if Atlas changes its name to Marvel, we'll change our name too. And they spent a lot of money hiring an organization. I didn't know there were such organizations that their business is they come up with names for companies. So they paid this organization a lot of money, and the name they came up with was DC. And we were Marvel, and they were DC. So that'll give you an idea of how much competition we had. Competition. Yes, sir.
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
What do you feel about the fact that a lot of heroes kill people?
Heroes kill people now?
Yeah. What do you feel about that?
You know, I haven't been reading the books lately, and I didn't know that heroes are killing people, but if you want my honest opinion, I don't like it. I tried not to have anybody really kill anybody, but once we had Spider-Man's girlfriend died, but that was a very important thing, and we made a big thing out of it. But we never had our heroes really kill anybody that I can remember, and if they are doing it, I don't know why. And I will look into it. Yes, sir.
I mean, you wrote, obviously, fantastic stories, but was there a writer that you really kind of did stories that you wished you had done? Was there someone you admired in comics?
The one writer that I really admire in comics is not an American, but he's an English writer, and he's the fellow who did the, they did a movie of it, I forget the name.
Watchmen.
Who?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore, that's the guy.
Yeah.
I think he is great. I mean, he is the most imaginative writer. It's just a shame that none of the movies they made of his stories really did justice to him. But other than that, I mean, I like most of the writers, but to me, Alan Moore stands out. I was kind of hoping he'd be here. I'd love to have met him. If you see him, give him my regards, okay?
Stan.
Yes, sir. Well, either one of you. Ladies first. Hi. The lady first.
I was wondering, as a writer, do you ever feel guilty for killing off characters? Do you ever feel like connected to them, or do you just say, oh, they're fictional, they're not real, I don't care, they're just...
Do I ever feel connected to who?
Your characters, like when you kill them off or something, do you ever feel like that affects you? Does it stay with you, or can you dismiss it?
She said a funny thing. She said, do I feel connected to my characters like when I kill them off? I don't kill them off. I killed one character. I once killed her father. No, I killed her father, Captain Stacy in Spider-Man. And then the next thing I knew, when I stopped writing the strip, a writer named, I forgot his name, but he killed Gwen Stacy, the daughter, Jerry Conway. And I said to him, what's the matter with you, Jerry? Are you mad at the Stacy family that killed him? No, the only one I think I ever remember killing was poor Gwen Stacy. But the reason I killed her, it's a very funny thing. When we started, I mean, killing her isn't funny. I mean, it's an ironic thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm supposed to be a writer. When we started doing the strip, after Steve Ditko left it, John Romita and I were doing Spider-Man, and I thought that Gwen Stacy would be the girl that Peter would eventually end up with. But then we introduced Mary Jane, MJ as I call her. It's funny, I didn't really know anything about drugs. I was never involved with them. And I didn't know that MJ stood for marijuana until people but it was too late to change it. So anyway, all of a sudden, it was like the characters had come to life. MJ had more personality than Gwen Stacy, and there was nothing we could do about it. No matter how John drew them, and no matter how I wrote them, MJ was just more fun than Gwen Stacy. And we finally decided, I think maybe Peter Parker ought to end up with MJ. So how did we get Gwen Stacy out of the way? See, when you're a writer, you're like God. You can kill people. So anyway, we killed Gwen Stacy, and that's why, and I'm a little sorry we didn't. She's the only character I remember ever killing. Yes, sir.
Hi, Stan, thank you.
See, he gave him the camera because it's hard for you to talk with the camera.
I can't
Very
multitask.
difficult. Glad to see you.
Avengers 2, okay? Masters of Evil, because heroes, villains are more important. Who would be your Masters of Evil against the Avengers in the movie?
In the movie? Oh, golly. Well, Dr. Doom I'd have lead it. I know he's probably not in the movie. I don't know who the villains are in the movie.
But if you could choose them.
But I would have Dr. Doom, I'd probably have the Lizard, I'd probably bring Doc Ock back again. I'd have Thanos, is there a guy?
God, yeah.
Is that the right name?
Yeah.
It's been so long. And I'd have Galactus. Because, I mean, it seems to me the Avengers ought to really have a tough time of it. There's a hand way back here, way over there. Yes, sir.
Hi, Stan. Is it true that you created the Fantastic Four after a golf match between like the head people at DC and Marvel Asylum?
Son of a gun, this man knows his history. Well, I didn't base the stories about what happened was we weren't doing superhero stories at the time, and my publisher was playing golf with the publisher of DC Comics, which was then National Comics, before they made that smart change. And the publisher of National Comics told my publisher, we've got this book, The Justice League, and it's selling very well. He shouldn't have said that. So my publisher, whose name was Martin Goodman, Martin came running back to the office and he said, hey Stan, National has a book with a lot of superheroes that's selling well. Why don't you do a book with a few superheroes? Well, he was my boss, I had to do what he told me. So I came up with the Fantastic Four, and the rest, as they say, is history. Oh, let's go to this side. Yeah, way back there.
Hi, Stan.
What are you standing on? Thought you were very tall.
What I'd like to know is Brian Bendis is writing Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, what?
Brian Bendis,
Yeah.
He's writing Ultimate Spider-Man. He's done a lot of creative changes and what have you. What do you think of the current situation of Spider-Man, changing identity, killing off Peter Parker, but his morals still being with great power comes great responsibility?
I can't really comment too much about it because I don't read the books now, which is a terrible thing to say, but I don't have time. But what happens is they have to make changes with the characters, because if you think of, and Brian Bendis, by the way, is a great writer and a friend of mine. If you think about it, Spider-Man and most of the characters started in the early 1960s. It's now 2000 and something. I'm not good at math. But it's been a long time. You can't keep having the same type of stories over and over. Because as wonderful as you people are, even you would start getting bored with them. So the editors, they suffer. They stay up nights. The reason most of them are bald-headed, tearing their hair out, trying to think, what can we do that's new? Maybe we'll publish a story where Spider-Man starts being a villain and we'll let that run for a while. Or maybe we'll kill him and have somebody take his place and then a year later it'll determine he wasn't really dead. Or, I mean, they desperately try to find new things they can do to make you keep reading the book, because they're greedy and selfish and want every dollar they can possibly make. And that's about it. And right over there, yeah.
Hi.
Yes, madam.
I was wondering if I could ask you, when you do your cameos in lots of Marvel movies, and we all spend the whole time waiting to find out where you are, more than watching the film itself, do you get to pick the cameos you're in?
I would like it, for those of you who didn't hear that really interesting question, do I get to pick the cameos that I'm in? I would love to say yes. I would love to say I have a tremendous amount of authority over these movie people. But the way it really happens, the phone rings one day, and it's the director of one of the movies. Hey Stan, are you free today? Come down to the studio, we're ready for your cameo. I never know what it'll be. And I get down to the studio, and I have to go, the first thing I have to do is go to wardrobe. Now let's say I'm dressed like this when I go to the studio. The wardrobe woman will say, well, we got to get rid of all your clothes. I say, okay. And then she gives me a black sweater, a pair of pants like this, and a pair of sneakers like that, and a white shirt. And I say, well, this is what I was wearing when I came in. I know, but you have to wear our clothes. So it's kind of funny. And then I go to makeup, where they try to make me look like Brad Pitt, which of course is easy because I resemble him anyway. And I say, why are you making me up? I'm not playing a leading man, and I'm a truck driver or something, it doesn't matter. The last one, I still kept the cap. If you saw the one from Thor where I drove a truck, I still have the cap, I have it up in my trunk. And I never, to answer your question, not only do I not figure out what my cameo will be. I never know what it'll be until I get there. But I can tell you that the cameos that I have in the new Spider-Man and Avengers are very funny, and I think you'll get a kick out of them. And yes, over here.
What was your first character that you created?
The first character I created? The first character I created, I don't remember what he was. I don't remember why I gave him that name, but I called him the Destroyer. And that was in about 1940 or so. I have no idea anymore who he was or what, but I was good at names. You got to admit that was a good name. Let's take a sit right over there.
Hi, my name's Darren. What has been your favourite story to write over the years?
My favourite story over the years? Wow. I think, there's so many of them. I like the Silvers. I love the way a lot of kids in college, when I used to lecture at colleges, they'd say, Stan, tell us about the Galactus Trilogy. And it sounded so important, the Galactus Trilogy. Those 3 stories where we introduced Galactus and the Silver Surfer. So I think those might be my favorites because the college kids liked them a lot. And I felt so flattered in those days that college kids were reading them. I gotta tell you something, I hate standing with the mic and having to pick people, because it doesn't matter who I pick. I know the rest of you are saying, why the hell didn't he pick me? So what I want to do, you pick the people. I don't want to get anybody mad at me. You tell me who to go to.
I gotta get the 10.
Never mind the money. It's fine.
I start with, like I told you at the beginning, women and kids are my weakness, so.
All right, right over here. No, not you, this kid.
I beg your pardon. Yeah.
Oh,
not the big kids.
I'm a big kid. You're trying to push your way in.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Out of all the camera scenes you've had in all the Marvel films, which one would be your favourite?
Which is my favorite of the Marvel films?
Yeah.
Golly, I think I liked them all, but I think maybe because I remember it better, because I have a bad memory, and this was newer. I think the Iron Man film, the first one, I got a big kick out of that one. And I think the public did too. It was a big hit. Now we'll go to you. I know you were frustrated, you were angry as hell, and I don't need any more enemies than I have.
I'm not like that, Stan.
Okay.
Pleased to meet you, I'm Richard Barr. I forgot what I wanted to ask now. No, I haven't. If you weren't in the comic book world, what do you think you'd have done instead? What interest do you have outside of comic books?
Everything. I would like to be everything. Obviously, I can't be Prime Minister of England, so that puts that out, although I'm still waiting to get a Sir title. They're so neglectful. But I think I'd like to be an actor. I enjoy the cameos, and I enjoy being at the studios. So I think, yeah, if I had my choice, it's fun. It's like not work. I mean, they tell you what to say. The director tells you where to be and what to do. You don't have to think. You just do what they tell you. Pick somebody. Oh, you're partial to kids. You're a sweet guy. The grown-ups hate you. Hi there.
If you were to make a new superhero, what superpowers would you have?
If I made a new character, what character would I have?
Yeah, and what superpowers?
And what superpowers?
Yes.
Oh boy.
That's an easy.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I don't think I can answer that because every one of you would go running to beat me too. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what superpower. I have to sit and think about it because I haven't made up too many new characters. I made up one new one. It's not a Marvel character. There's a famous rock and roll singer in Asia named Yoshiki, and he's coming to America, and he's probably been to England. So he wanted me to make something up for him, and I made up something called the Blood Red Dragon, or is it the Red Blood Dragon? Blood Red Dragon. And I'm not sure, I can't remember what it is, but I think it's very good. And other than that, I never know what I'm going to come up with until I sit down and think of it, and I haven't been thinking of it lately. Find somebody.
Guy in the Hulk shirt.
You know, that whole
Capture this like a
Who's that?
in the
Where?
play. It's Vincent
Oh,
Stanley.
hi there.
Hi. Which comic book character means the most to you?
Oh, they all do. All of them mean the most to me. But I'm a little bit partial to the Silver Surfer, because the poor guy flies around naked all the time. It's cold up there. Give me something.
The young lady right there.
Oh, yeah, I like young ladies.
Hi, from Florida. Speaking of cameos, what do you think of Chuck Lorre and the Big Bang Theory and how he's kind of made to a central part of his show?
Yeah. Oh, well, those of you who saw my show, I can't wait for them to invite me back again. That was more fun, and those guys were great. And you know, when you hear that show, and they say a funny line, and everybody laughs, a lot of people think that they have a laugh track that they play. But it's the cast themselves that are laughing. They find it so funny that they're laughing while it's going on. I love doing it. I got a lot of calls from people, though, because those of you who saw the show, a couple of fans come to the door, they want to come in and see me unexpectedly, and I get pretty annoyed that they're intruding, and I call the cops eventually, or I ask my wife too. And I got a lot of fan mail saying, that's a hell of a way to treat your fans. And I wanted to write back, it was a movie, dummy. But anyway, it was fun doing it. Go.
Hello, sir.
Partial to kids. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. It's an honor. Which is your favorite supervillain from all of the companies?
What about all the companies?
From all of the
Who's your favorite super villain?
My favorite?
Supervillain.
My favorite of all the companies? Well, you're going to be very surprised at this answer. Marvel! Yes!
The guy in the back.
Yes. The guy in the back. Who's the guy in the back? Here's the guy in the back.
Who's the greatest artist you've ever worked with?
The greatest artist? Well, now that's a difficult question, because I have worked with some truly great artists. Of all the artists I've worked with, as an artist, John Buscema is the greatest artist. He's the closest thing to Michelangelo, the way he drew. I mean, no artist in the business that I know of could draw like John Buscema. But the best storyteller for comics was Jack Kirby, I think. And because there's a difference between a comic book storyteller and an artist. But I'm lucky. I've worked with so many fine artists that I almost feel guilty mentioning any one, because so many of them were great. Go!
Good to see you guys there. What would you like to drink from the bar?
Well, when the time comes, I might be tempted to have a screwdriver, but I can wait another few minutes.
No. One screwdriver for Mr. Lee.
Gentleman right there.
Are you going to get funny answers after that? Where am I going?
The guy right here.
Guy right here. You're the guy right here. You'll always be known as the guy right here.
Do you have any regrets?
Any what?
Regrets.
Any widget? Regrets. Oh, any regrets? Yeah, I regret that he called this meeting because I keep watching television now. No, not really. No, it's been an exciting life, and a lot of frustrations, but a lot of good things. And why should I have more regrets than anybody else? No. Okay, you're very good at this, by the way. Hi.
All the characters that have died and come back, is there anyone that you wish had stayed gone for whatever reason?
Do I wish what?
If any of the characters that had died and come back, is there anyone you wish had ever just stayed gone?
Oh, of all the characters that died and came back, do I wish that they had stayed gone?
Any of them you wish had ever stayed
I don't know of any who died and came back.
Phoenix.
Come on. You got Gwen Stacy that came back, the Green Goblin.
Phoenix.
Bucky.
You know,
Wait, say it slowly. Who died?
Bucky.
Who?
Bucky.
Oh, I didn't kill Bucky. That was before.
Not you. Not
Stan,
you.
Stan, the question's asked if, of all the characters that were killed in the Marvel Universe, like Bucky, the Phoenix, which character would you want not to come back?
Bucky! I hate little teenage characters. I'm sorry, I forgot about Phoenix. Yes, she was killed, but I think she's better dead. If you bring them back, then nobody cares if a character dies anymore. They figure she'll come back later.
The little girl right there.
Little girl right here, yes. Oh, wait a minute, hold it, little girl. I got a taste. You're going to get a fast answer.
No, right here, Stan.
Who's that?
Right here.
Where? Oh, okay.
My boyfriend really wants to ask a question.
Shucks.
She got you. Got you.
Yeah.
I collect a lot of like memorabilia and film props, and I saw, I wasn't stalking, but I saw your house, you have a lot of ornaments and stuff like that. And I was wondering, do you have any props or memorabilia that is your favourite, that you kept from films or anything like that?
Yeah, the only memorabilia I've kept from films is the cap from like that cameo I did, and I wanted to bring home the bathrobe, the robe that I was wearing in the
Iron Man.
I did bring it home. Where is it? You take it? I gotta look for it. But anyway, no, I don't, other than that, no, people send me things occasionally, but I really don't have anything from the movies. Go!
Guy in the yellow.
Guy in the yellow, yes.
Hey, do you wish you kind of got more into movies or TV, like writing movies and stuff?
What about the movies?
Do you wish you kind of...
Do I wish I had gotten into movies?
Yeah, or wrote movies.
Or wrote movies?
Yeah.
Written movies?
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be grammatically correct.
Yeah, that's well done. Well done.
Movies are awfully hard to write. And I'm not saying I couldn't write a great one, but they take too long. See, the beautiful thing about writing a comic book, I could do that in one day or less. And I'm an impatient guy, so I'd start working in the morning, by the middle of the afternoon I was finished, and then I could do whatever the hell I felt like. To write a movie takes at least 6 weeks to write a good movie, sometimes 2-3 months. Then after you've written it, you have to send it to the producers, and they go over it, and they give you notes. And it doesn't matter if your movie script is perfect, you will still get pages of notes of things to change. So you spend another few weeks doing the changes. Then you submit it again. They finally okay it, but then they hire a director. And the director says, hey, wait a minute, I don't like this scene, I don't like that, I don't like this character's personality. It just takes too long, and how they ever end up with a good movie, I don't know. But I'd rather do what I used to do, and I'd rather talk to people like you because I get a drink of it out of it. What's next?
Gentleman in the black right here.
It's really just orange juice for the little kids.
In X-Men 14, you introduced the Sentinels.
X-Men what?
In X-Men 14, you introduced the Sentinels.
The who?
The Sentinels.
Oh, the Sentinels, of course.
Yeah. They were one colour in the 14, and 15 and 16 they were the purple and mauve that they are now. What was the right colour? Was that a mistake?
You are the most observant human. First of all, how you even remember the number of the issue that they were introduced in. And my only answer is I have absolutely no idea. I never paid much attention to the coloring. People used to say to me, how come Thor's costume is this color or this guy's costume? And I said, I didn't even know what color it was. I don't pay attention to it. I'd make up a character, the artist would draw the character, and somebody would color it and show it to me. I'd say, yeah, that's fine. And that never bothered me that much. Okay. So I can't answer the question, and I feel humble and humiliated that you're frustrated. I'll go back, I'll try to find it, and I'll tell somebody, and they'll publish it in the paper here, and I hope you're reading it.
Okay.
That'll make it okay.
Thank you.
All right. Hold it. Now,
this gentleman has to leave because he says he's bored, and I'm going to
no. He
just wants to shake your hand, he's gotta go. Most appreciated. Thank you.
That's the end of it? That's the question? Goodbye? That's the easiest question I had all night. Thank you. Okay, so long.
Let's go with that guy right there.
Who?
The guy in the gray shirt.
The guy in the gray shirt.
Right.
All right, these three guys now.
What's that, sorry? No, not
Good question. Good question. I wish I had a good answer. I was asked which character in the 60s did I find the most difficult to write. I think maybe the Hulk. Because it was tough to write dialogue for him. He didn't speak all that well. And it was also tough to find villains for the Hulk to fight because he can beat up anybody. So, yeah, I can't even make it funny. I'm going to give you a straight answer. The Hulk was the toughest one to write.
Guy in the blue shirt, sweatshirt. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
What do you constitute as a great comic book story?
What do I consider a great comic book story? Yeah. Well, usually anyone that I write. The same that you'd consider any good novel or movie or anything. It's got to be a story that holds your interest, that you can't wait to see what happens next. And when you finished it, you say, wow, I enjoyed that. And that's it. I can't think of any other rules beyond that.
Thank you.
This gentleman right here.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Dev, and it's great to meet you. This is the name of birthday.
Oh.
Hey, happy birthday! Happy birthday!
And this is the best way you could spend it?
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, out of the Japanese comic books that you created, Hero Man and Ultimo, how much creative control do you have over the plots?
Over the Japanese ones?
Yes.
None. I created a number of Japanese comic strips, and what I do, I give the basic idea to the people in Japan, but then they have their own person writing it and drawing it, and when they send me the book, I hardly know what I'm looking at. They change it so much that I almost feel guilty having my name on it because it was my original idea, but they have their own style of storytelling, which is totally different than ours.
Guy with the hat.
Guy with the hat. All right. I see two guys with, no? All right. Yeah, we got two hats. Are they going to go together? Hi.
It's such an honor.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you that many people in the world who had a different childhood, a difficult childhood, really could have hang tight to the stories you made and could have escaped to crazy worlds where they had no problems more than the evil enemies and everything. And I really want to thank you from the deepest part of my heart. But the question I have is, many superpowers you invented back in the times were, from as like I see it, were based a bit on problems people have many times. Like, for example, the Hulk, the crazy rage, the Wolverine, like nothing can hurt him physical, but the psychological stuff always keeps him down. Stuff. Does it really? Did it give you the inspiration for this? Did it give you in the real world, like of this?
No, I think you're making it sound more intellectual than it really was. And I tried to give every hero something a vulnerability. I tried to give them all, I tried not to make them perfect. For example, Iron Man had a weak heart. The Hulk, everybody hated. And he would turn into Bruce Banner whenever he didn't want to. And so forth. And I did that only to make it more interesting because, take Superman, for instance. I don't want to speak ill about a competitor, although I love doing that. Superman never very much interested me because he wasn't vulnerable. They realized that after a while, and they had to invent Krypton, or Kryptonian, or whatever, Kryptonite, whatever it was. But it's no fun reading about somebody who can't be hurt and everything is perfect. And I never really knew anything about Superman's private life. All I knew, he was Clark Kent, worked for a paper, And his biggest fear was if he took off his glasses, Lois Lane might think he was. See, if I took off my glasses, you wouldn't recognize me. I'm really another person. I did a cameo. Oh, that's funny. It had nothing to do with Superman. I don't know where he came up with this, but speaking of glasses, I did a cameo for the Avengers movie, which you will not see because they didn't use it. No, but I did another one you will see, which is better. And what happened with the first one, I was supposed to be sitting in a restaurant, and Steve Rogers is at the next table, very close to me, and there's a pretty waitress bringing him his food, and he obviously liked her, but he's not talking to her. So I lean over and I say something like, "Get her phone number, you dummy." And after I did that, the director said, "Stan, would you mind removing your eyeglasses because the light is causing a glare, so I'd like to shoot this without your eyeglasses." So I did it and did it again. Everything was fine. I went home. A couple days later, I got a phone call. "You have to do a different cameo." I said, "Why?" He said, "Nobody recognized you without your eyeglasses." So that's the story that he asked me to tell. If you found it dull, if you enjoyed it, it's because I told it. Find somebody.
The guy in the tray right there.
Yes.
Hi. Hi. What is your favourite Spider-Man story that you've written?
My favourite what?
Spider-Man story that you've written.
My favorite Spider-Man story I've written. Well, I'll pick one. I don't really have favorites because I'm such a big fan of mine. I like everything I've written. But I think the one called Spider-Man No More, when he decides to give up being Spider-Man. And I love the cover that John Romita drew, where he's walking away from the reader and there's a garbage pail and his costume is hanging over the edge. So I think that's probably my favorite one.
Kid right there.
Wait a minute, hold it. Keep pointing.
Kid right there.
Who, where?
That kid right there.
Okay. This is not a kid, this is virtually a full-grown man.
Have you ever revealed your superhero identity to your wife?
Have I ever given a superhero identity to my wife?
No. Have you ever revealed your superhero identity to Joni?
I'm afraid I have no secrets from my wife, who is a superheroine in her own right. But that's subject for another meeting.
Here's the thing you guys might not know. You guys know he did voiceovers for Spider-Man the animation series, right? Yeah. Do you know his wife did a lot of
Madam
voiceovers?
Web.
Yeah.
Madam Web, that was my wife.
It's interesting because she talks just like that.
And I made her stop. I said, "I don't need the competition."
The kid in the black right here.
Oh, thank you so much. I've got my brother on the phone here who's got an amazing question for you. I'm wondering if you can speak to him, please.
You have a
Yeah, my brother's got a question. He's on the phone. If you can just...
Oh, really? I hope I can hear him. I don't hear that well. Hello, you got a question? Hi. Is there a character I didn't create that I wish I created? Okay, hold on a minute and let me think about it. Hey, that's very good. Robin Hood. I don't know. I wish I had created anything great. I wish I had created Sherlock Holmes or Ulysses, but he probably meant comics. So maybe Batman. I kind of like Batman because he doesn't have any superpowers of his own, and he has a double identity. And when it's written well, it's a pretty good script. I'll say Batman. What the hell?
You get all that?
The guy right here.
Which one?
Right, the tallest one?
I don't want to go to the wrong one.
That's him right
What's
there.
he wearing?
Plaid shirt.
All right. Now, he's the only one.
I'm going to have to shoot off.
There won't be a case of mistake, and I go right to that guy. Okay.
All right, I'll speak to you soon.
How do you feel about the way Marvel and Disney have joined up, and was it what you intended for the future of Marvel?
How do I feel about the way Marvel and Disney joined up, and did I intend it? I had nothing to do with it, but I feel it's great because Disney loves Marvel. They bought Marvel, and a lot of people said, "Oh, that's going to be terrible. Marvel is suddenly going to become like Mickey Mouse." No way. Disney leaves them alone. They don't tell them what to do. They don't tell them how to do it. Marvel is still going its way, except they have a lot more money behind them, so they can now do more expensive movies. So it really turned out great. Yes, sir.
Gentleman right here.
Yes.
Hello, Stan.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Your cult of personality is one of the reasons that we're here. When I read comics in the 70s, it was the Marvel black and white weeklies. And I used to go every Wednesday to my newsagent and buy my copy, even in the snow and during a blizzard. And I thought, if I die to buy my Marvel comic, I'll get a posthumous no prize. Are you able to give me now that no prize?
You haven't died.
I must have absolute silence. I hereby award you, not a posthumous one,
No.
I hereby award you, what date is today?
Sunday.
26.
The 20, on, and what month is it? On February 26th, you,
Russell Willis,
are awarded a no prize.
Hey!
I want you to guard it well, put it in a safe place. You may look at it at least once a week and treasure it.
Thank you very much.
Don't embarrass me with your thanks.
Hey guys, we're running out of time, but to be fair, okay, and I'm asking everybody to be fair. If you already asked a question, don't raise your hand. So we're just going to ask, I'm going to ask one question, and whoever gets the right answer is going to answer the last question. Because I want to make sure everybody gets their stuff signed, okay?
All of a sudden, rules.
I gotta think of a good question.
Well, it was nice seeing you.
Can anybody name what comic book Stan had his first cameo in?
What comic book?
Yep.
I don't even know. I don't know if they're right.
Fantastic Four 10.
Yeah.
He needs to go.
There you go. There's your answer question right there.
Hi, Stan, it's a great honor, but my question is, you told us
Oh, I thought he was going to answer.
No, he answered the question.
What was the answer?
Fantastic Four number 10.
Yeah.
Really? That's I was in that?
Yep.
No wonder it sold so well. Okay, what's your question?
My question was, you told us yesterday how you came up with Spider-Man, but how did you come up with the Hulk?
How did I come up with the Hulk?
Yeah.
I am going to tell you how I came up with the Hulk. As always, I was trying to do something different. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to get a monster who's really a good guy? And the reason I thought of that, I always liked that Frankenstein movie with Boris Karloff. Excuse me. I always thought, really, the monster was a good guy, but he was always being chased up and down the mountains by those idiots with the torches. And I thought, I'm going to get a monster who's good, but everybody thinks he's a monster, and they're always chasing him around. And then I thought, well, that'll be kind of dull. How long can you see people chasing a monster? So I remembered Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I said, well, what if my monster could turn into his normal self when he least wanted to, and then turn into his monstrous self when he least wanted to? And what if each one of his selves would hate the other one? And that's when I thought of the Hulk. And I thought, of course, the name was brilliant, the Hulk. But I thought it needed something, so I called him the Incredible Hulk. Because I'm very corny and I love adjectives. Like, it could have been the Four, but I made it the Fantastic Four. And on. The Amazing Spider-Man. Give me an adjective and I'm a happy man. You guys are great. I really enjoyed this. Even without the drink, I enjoyed it. I didn't hear what you said, but I'm... Oh, okay.
So if you guys can't, if we can't, we're just going to start, and please don't run. Everybody's going to get something signed. Just line up in front of the table, and we'll get you guys.